Hello from Egypt, everybody. The weather is so weird those days. Like at the end of April, and it's cold and hot at the same time. The air is so cold and at the same time it's so sunny, so it makes you like sweat and like it's cold at the same time. It's the perfect recipe for getting a float. So in this video, we're gonna discuss how the war between Russia and Ukraine had affected Egypt, the prices, the cost of everything, the dollar. Also, how the US had affected Egypt by increasing the interest rate and the inflation that's happening right now in the US, and how it affects Egyptians here. So maybe ask yourself where I am right now. I'm in the fish gardens here in Egypt, Cairo, Egypt, and it's so cool, to be honest. Like, it's much better than I expected. The place is wow, and the entrance fee is just £5. That is like 20 cents, something like that. But just look at this. So, to give you an accurate perspective, how a war between Russia and Ukraine affects Egypt. It's so weird, I know, and doesn't make sense for a lot of you. But the truth is, Russia and Ukraine is way more connected to Egypt, more than you may expect for real. First of all, Russia and Ukraine have over 4 million visitors that visit Egypt every single year. So right now it's expecting that the amount of Russian that will come to Egypt will be dropped for about 30%. And of course for Ukrainians, the situation, I think all of you know, no one will come because of the war, and right now the country has been destroyed, to be honest. But for the Russians, because the Egypt decided to start to accept rubles instead of dollars, so the situation in the past was that Russians would come with dollars, it changed it for Egyptian pounds here in Egypt. Right now, the Egyptian government decided that they will accept the Russian ruble to exchange it directly to Egyptian pounds. So it's expected that the number will drop for about 30%. So I would say that was a good news for me, to be honest, because if 2 million Russians will come, that's a good thing. Rather than that, no one will come, because that will hit a lot of people here. The other thing that affects Egypt directly between Russia and Ukraine was wheat. Not wheat, I'm talking about wheat. Yes, Egypt is the biggest exporter of wheat all over the world. And you guessed it, where they export the most of the wheat from was from Russia and Ukraine. Russia and Ukraine gave Egypt every single year about 80% of Egypt consumption of wheat, surprisingly. I know it's a huge number. Another thing, so one of the things that was scaring a lot of people, that the government said about 1 month ago, that the reserve of wheat that the government has is just for about 6 to 8 months. But to be honest, right now the situation is much better, because right now Egypt has returned back to Russia and imports wheat from it. Also, they start to import wheat from different countries. The biggest country that right now is importing wheat to Egypt is India. Another thing, that the US had increased the interest rate just by 0.25%. You may say that it's a very small increase. How would it affect a country like here? The truth is, most of the investors who have hot money decide to take their money out from Egypt and send it to the US and Europe. So that had affected the government start to give interest rate on the bank for about 18%. That is a very high number, and that collected a lot of money from the market, and that somehow frees up the market, because a lot of people that was planning to buy an apartment or to renew their cars, they decide, why I would do that, why I can't put my money in the bank and receive 18% interest rate. So right now, to be honest, the market is quite freezed. No one is buying or selling anything. Also, the most important thing that had happened is the dollar had increased by about 18%. That's a huge drop for the Egyptian pound, to be honest, and that had affected every single thing. For instance, in the last 2 weeks, the government has announced that they will increase the price of bread to be doubled. Also, that's not the only thing. For instance, most of the food that are being consumed in the supermarket also have been increased at minimum by 10 to 20% in average. For instance, the cost of meat has increased from 150 pounds to about 180 pounds. That is a 20% increase just in 10 days. Also, the price of most of the essential goods here in Egypt has increased about from 15 to 20% in average. The other thing that also had increased was the price of oil. The oil price had increased about, I would say, the least amount, to be honest. I was quite shocked that the government just decided to increase the price of oil just by quarter of a pound, like just 25 piastres. I was shocked, to be honest, that the government did that. It was something that was so good from the government. Everyone was expecting that to increase by about 75 piastres, something like that, but the government decided that to increase it by just 25 piasters. Also, the government didn't decide to increase the price of electricity. That was also a good thing. The price also of the internet, all this stuff has stayed the same. Also, the metro line stayed the same. They didn't decide to increase the price for now. No one knows what will happen in the future, but right now nothing had happened. Also, right now, if you went to any supermarket, everything is like full. There's no limitation, to be honest, of anything. Anything you want, you'll find it. That's another good thing, to be honest. There's no shortage of anything in terms of food, electronics, clothes, anything like that. Everything is available, and that's a good thing. ادخل عادي.
ونعمل برضه نحمص هنا اسماك اهيت كبيره.
انا اول مره في حياتي اشوف خفيش عشان اكلمها بمرض الله.
كبيره.
So thank you all for watching. I hope that you liked the video, and if you have any ideas, please write it down to me. If you have anything you want to know about Egypt or about me or how people live here, I'll be truly happy to show you guys. And please subscribe, and hope to see you soon, guys. Peace out. Bye.